going to now introduce our awesome speaker, and this is Pastor Doug Green. So Pastor Doug Green is the founding pastor of North Hills Church and is a local icon, in my opinion. I mean, when I first got my job 3 years ago, he was the first one from BMA to welcome me. He was the first person I knew in the faith-based community. And come to find out, with my regional job before, we had several common friends. And I came to know that he is not just super active in Brea, but regionally and globally. He has served in various capacities in denominational leadership, and he's a trustee for Vanguard University, currently serving as chair of the board. For almost 2 decades, he served as a chaplain of the Brea Police Department and loves looking for ways to partner with and serve our local community. Under Doug's leadership, North Hills Church has become a vital, growing church. Doug is a guy who loves any reason to get together with people and eat. Yes, you can laugh. When given a day off, Doug would rather start a new project around the house than finish an old one. He would rather swing a hammer than a golf club, liking the satisfaction of building something good. He loves to travel and meet new and interesting folks, especially missionaries. He always reads the sports section of the newspaper first, looking for someone who just had the game of his or her life. So would you please help me welcome Pastor Doug Green. We're going to start with a little interview, and then we're going to let Doug do his thing because we'll talk about one of his passions. Is this on? Okay, there you go. We'll just ask Doug a few questions, and then we'll get started with his workshop for us.
Before you start,
yes.
Can I just respond to the mayor's joke?
No rebuttals.
First of all, the Bible says the first shall be last, and the last shall be first. Just figure it out. And secondly, I think an evangelical pastor, it may be more of a politician than an actual politician. A little political humor there. And I also, I would like you to know, I don't know, this is kind of a hidden secret, but Crosspoint, they're fairly new. They transitioned from Brea Baptist, but they actually give out Shady Nook sports bras for all the people. You can get that from them.
See you Sunday.
Look where you started, Connie.
And in honor of Contender, I'm waiting to become the president of the Women Rising Leadership Academy. We'll see what happens.
I forgot to talk about what a comedian he is.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, so my first question for you is, would you tell us a little bit about when you knew you first wanted to be a pastor? How old were you, and what influenced you to take that direction in your life?
I think I always liked church. It was always something helpful to me. I grew up, I was born in Whittier, lived in La Habra and Brea, and went to church in Whittier. And I always loved going to church. It was never a problem for me. My friends were there and just liked the stories and the relationships. And so that's where it started. Talk about high school graduation, why I want to see it. I think I peaked in high school. I think it's just been a decline ever since. And I got involved in some leadership roles that really did help nurture that affirmation in my life that maybe I could take a local church and be a leader in the church and in a local community. And that's how my training went from that point on, and here we are.
How old were you?
Probably I was in high school when I really felt like, we call it the call, like God is calling you. And we really felt like that's what I was going to do. And I tried to find ways to get out of it, and those are long stories, but I think I'm 61 years old. I've been here in Brea for 32 years, and at this point, I don't think a new career would probably be a good idea. Makes sense? Yeah.
It does, thank you. Okay, so you're on the Vanguard board.
Yes.
You're now chairing it.
Mm-hmm.
How does your involvement with Vanguard, why are you there, and how does it support your life goals?
Well, I think our universities are critical places for shaping the future, even more so than the years before, which are super formative and everything else. But in university, you have a chance, we all understand this, to start making your own decisions. You have some freedom a little bit from your parents. And I think it's really important to invest in young adults who, when they feel like you're their friend, you bring them in as interns and so forth, and you befriend them and you show them the ways you do things and the ups and downs of how you do things. It's really an important place in shaping their lives. I love Vanguard University because it is producing young men and women who are changing the world. For example, we just recently got a $10 million gift from the Hispanic woman who owns Patty Arviela, who owns we call it a mortgage business. And I think it's the largest one in the United States. And we've named our business school after her. First business school ever named after a woman, let alone a Hispanic woman. And Vanguard is got 63% of its population are people of color. And a whole bunch of them are young, female, Hispanic women. And I watched when they named it after her, and she made herself available for students, the line of young women who wanted to just shake her hand. By the way, her story is she started out cleaning houses. And then she started getting into houses, obviously, and selling houses and that kind of thing. But it's a great story of what is best about America, but it's also a great story about a Christian woman who is now wanting to invest into the next generation. I'll do the same thing. That's it. Is that helpful?
Wow, yes, it is helpful, and it kind of brings it full circle. So is your facility in here? Okay, Goodwill. Because I know Nicole Sudan. Oh, there you are. Yeah. So from Goodwill.
Yes, Nicole Sudan,
Nicole
your
Sudan's a
CEO,
graduate.
a fellow board member, and incredible person, parlaying her Vanguard degree and helping the least of these in our society.
And I think
She's
few
awesome.
people know she's very engaged in WRLA, and I don't think many people know that she has a Hispanic background, which is kind of interesting because WRLA primarily attracts, for whatever reason, this Hispanic community. So kind of tie in there.
She was a student who somebody saw some potential in her, gave her a scholarship, and now she's,
It's amazing.
doing incredible amounts of good.
Running the largest nonprofit in Orange County.
Yeah.
So excellent. So I think of you as an entrepreneurial pastor when I hear you talk about what you're doing with your church, and you're actually looking at this is what you said to me, something along the lines of keeping it relevant. You might need to merge with another church or make some changes. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, we are paying attention to the demographics of Brea. 32 years ago, when we showed up. 1 2-year-old, one in the womb. Thanks for those who are carrying people in the womb. I'll never know about that, nor will I ever be the president of the WRLA. So, but anyway, we showed up and I went to our first Brea Fest in 1993. And I just looked around, and at that point, Brea was easily 70% white. And the school across the street from us, Olinda, according to the stats I received, is 60-something% Asian and 12% white. When our kids were going through Brea schools, all 3 of them went through there and had great success, loved the school district. I think at that point, Olinda was like, it had to be 80 to 90% white. So there's clearly a demographic shift happening, especially on that side of the freeway, but in Brea overall. Now I think what I heard from a good source, 30% of Brea is basically ballpark, 30% white, 30% Hispanic, 30% Asian, 10% other. And we've just got to be paying attention to the demographic shifts that are happening in our community. If we care about our community, we want to represent our community. I brought this up at city committees, like as part of the the Centennial Committee, part of the new Master Plan Committee, that we need to make sure that the room that's making decisions looks like the community that lives here. But I just want to say something. Doing what we're trying to do, which is to merge with a second generation Korean congregation, is nothing. I thought it was a great idea, it's still a great idea, but it is super extremely difficult. And we're just trying to hammer it out. And we're trying to figure it out. We're trying to make sure that we're paying attention to how we can do it. And I do think, not only pragmatically for your own businesses, but it's super important relationally as a community as we get along, that we find new ways to be open to the changing demographic. And by the way, I just want to say, we love to be involved in what God's doing all over the world. So when the whole world is here in Brea or in Southern California, this is the new Ellis Island of the United States. This is the international terminal. I don't know if you've ever walked through an international terminal and seen all the people from every part of the world. To me, that's the picture of heaven. When you see everybody, all tribes, people, languages. And I think what a great advantage to live in a community that is demographically diverse. And the other benefit is anywhere you want to, any kind of food you want to eat in the world, you can get on a plane and go eat it. That's really expensive, probably $2,000, $3,000, $4,000. Or you can just drive within 10 minutes and you can find it in Southern California. And I think that's pretty exciting, which is what I kind of do for a living. I eat food.
You are about
All roads lead to food.
Cool. Well, Doug has a passion, and to kick off what he's going to do next, I just want to ask you about that passion in teaching people how to speak effectively. Where does that come from?
Well, when I came to Brea, I had a Master of Divinity and obviously a Bachelor of Arts degree. And I wanted to be as prepared as I could to be a pastor. There's nothing wrong with getting education as long as it doesn't mess you up, like your pride issues and whatever. But after about 7 years of preaching, and we started in the Curtis Theater, I really felt like there were times when I was speaking when I could tell people were sleeping. And I never was angry at them, I just envied them. I wanted to be sleeping too. So I went to a really cool seminary called Gordon Conwell Theological Seminary in South Hamilton, Massachusetts, north of Boston. And I studied with a guy who, and my whole doctoral degree was in what we call homiletics, but what you could call speech communication, oral communication. And I learned some things in that degree, wrote my dissertation. I mean, the question we were asking is, why can some people speak for 5 minutes and it seems like an hour? Some people can speak for an hour and it seems like 5 minutes. And I'm going to tell you two things today that we're not going to have time to fully unpack, but could hopefully send you down a path where you could be more interesting. It certainly helped me. And I came home from my first 2 weeks of class time, and I changed the way I spoke, and everybody noticed. And this wasn't that, essentially, I started speaking without notes. I wasn't looking down and reading a manuscript anymore. I was speaking, making eye contact with people. And well, it's okay. I mean, notes are important sometimes. By the way, if you speak at a funeral and you ask my advice, I say you should write it down because it's a tough place to speak. But I just changed the way I began to speak, and people not only were more engaged, but they actually felt as if I was talking from my heart. And it's the same content, I just made contact. In much the same way you do, in any kind of relationship, you have to, your nonverbals are really important. If you sit across from your significant other and you tell them deep things from your heart that you've written on a piece of paper, it's not as convincing as if you look them in the eyes. Or if you just make eye contact as opposed to reading the room and everything else. So it's super important to figure out these things. And it changed the way that I spoke, and then I've just been teaching here and there, not only in the United States, but around the world where you get to have world leaders, like in Africa or whatever, that you tell them that some missionary came and told them that they ought to have 3 points in a poem, and you tell them to go back to the way that you were before we came and messed it up. Tell stories. It's story-driven culture where the oral tradition of stories is compelling. Be visual in what you do, and it's been really fun to see how that is having an impact upon nations in Africa and so forth. I'm just part of a group that does that kind of stuff. So anyway,
Thank you for sharing, my notes, a bit of your history with
Yeah.
us, and now we're going to be able to enjoy Doug's wisdom. He's going to lead us in some activities. So,
yeah,
have at it.
thank you, Lacey. Well, it's I don't have any notes, so I'm just gonna walk around and get in your space. How's that sound? Yeah. But I just want to say, all right, why would you, as a business owner, there's a good chance that many of you make more money than me and you might be more important than me. Why would you want to listen to a local preacher tell you how to speak? Well, number one, I just told you that I actually studied it and I understand it. It was, I didn't make it up. It was given to me from one of the best. But most importantly, you need to understand that why I'm qualified to help you is because I do it every week. And I've been doing it every week times 32 years times whatever, probably 40 plus Sundays, sometimes 2 to 3 times a weekend. And consequently, I know what it's like to strike out. I know what it's like to fail. I know what it's like to not be able to get over what I just did until Tuesday. I know what that's like. You know what I'm talking about? You guys know what it's like. Yeah. And I also know what it's like to make contact with a ball. I know what it's like to be happy with a single, to happy just to get on base. I know what it's like to hit a grand slam. That doesn't happen every week. I know what it's like to do it, so I'm not somebody who's coming out of an ivory tower, but I'm coming from a practical standpoint of helping you understand how to speak. So this is what you're looking to do is you want an audience that's engaged. There are 2 parts of communication. One is there's the speaker and then there's the audience. If the audience is engaged, then the speaker's doing something good. The other option is the audience is not engaged. So I say the title today is how to be an engaging public speaker, and the subtitle is how to not be boring. And I think you guys would all want to know, just tell me what you can. Well, what can I do in a short amount of time? I have a lot of material, but if I could just summarize it in 2 things, this is what I'd tell you. All right? Number 1, say one thing. You remember City Slickers where he said, the old cowboy said one thing. The fact is, especially if you're talking to men, this is why we'll never be the president of that organization. Especially if you're talking to men, they can really, there's no way in the world they're going to remember 10 things. They can remember one thing. And the best, by the way, my dissertation was in Hollywood script writing and how that can apply to narrative storytelling and biblical preaching. In other words, I've watched a lot of bad 2-hour movies where I just wasted 2 hours of my life. You done it? Right? And I'm still engaged. But I can't imagine sitting through 2 hours of a boring speech. But we've probably done that too. So the one thing is super important because if they leave the event and they can remember the one thing that you said, then you can be successful. And by that, one thing should be the summary of everything you say, and everything you say about that thing should be just subpoints of that one thing. It all is unified, and there's one thing that you're trying to say. You got it?
Yeah.
Really, just keep it simple. By the way, if you're only saying one thing, you don't need notes, because certainly you can remember the one thing, right? Number 2, make it visual. And that is that everything you're saying, you have to be able to see. If you can see it, then it's interesting. If you can't see it, then it's boring. You can see what you're saying, and you can describe what you see. It's an interesting, information. So if I'm saying to you, you're going to be speaking at a funeral, you're doing a toast at a wedding, you're speaking at your next meeting for your organization. If you could do these 2 things, it would make your presentation so much better. And I'll explain. I don't think we're going to have enough time to get to number 2, but I think you can. I gave you the notes on the back just because there's so much we can say about this, but I'll get there quickly, but I really want you to understand how to say one thing. If that's all we can do today, then I guess that would be one thing.
That's right.
And it's going to be good. Got it? Make sense? And I don't want to insult you. I just want to say that, and because there's a lot of bright people in the room, but seriously, the brighter you are, the harder it is to say one thing. Sometimes the simplest people are the most effective speakers. They say that the C students are the best preachers. The A students are good professors, right? And it's a whole different kind of communication style there than when you're talking to people. So let's just say you're just kind of an average person. There's hope that you can do an above average and amazing job speaking. And that's the hope that I hold on to. So, say one thing. If you go on to the next slide, we begin with how do you form ideas? In order to say one thing, you've got to consolidate it into one sentence. And I'm going to help you do that. I was also an English major in college, so I think it was White who said brevity is strength. How can you say one thing very succinctly in one sentence? I'm going to give you a really easy way to do that. All right. First thing is you pick a topic, and I'm gonna demonstrate this in just a second, but I'm gonna walk through these steps. The first thing is the topic. Number 2 is a question. You're gonna ask a question about the topic. Number 3 is and here are the questions. By the way, when you're asking a question, there are only 6 ways a question can begin with, and that it's your 6 faithful friends. Are you going to be talking about the how of the topic, how to do it, the what is it, when is it, where is it, who is it, why is it? There are no other ways that you can ask questions. Those cover it all. And if you can be succinct about what you're trying to do, are you trying to explain the why? Are you trying to explain the how? All these things are important. If you can just kind of know that, your speech, your presentation will be on target. You're not trying to shoot buckshot, you're trying to hit the bullseye. You want to just say one thing so it just really goes into their heads. Is this good?
Yes.
6 things. These are questions that you ask all the time, you just don't think about it, but when you're trying to form what you want to say, figure out which one of these are the question you want to ask. Okay, then we go on to number 3. So, topping the question demands what? An answer. All right. You take the question and you merge it with the answer, and you get the 4th thing, which is the big idea. The big idea is the thing that you're trying to communicate. It's that sentence. You take the question and you merge it together with the answer, the academic way to say it would be you take the subject, you merge it with a complement. Complement, not like your gender, you look great today. That's a compliment. So this is a compliment as a completion of the idea. And so the idea has to have both the question and the answer in order to be full, fully thought, fully expressed idea. All right. So let me give you some examples. All right. This is the topic. Who gave this thing? Good job. What is it?
It's a highlighter
Why did you get it?
because it's noticeable and it's a remembrance of dollar signs.
Yeah. How did you come up with this idea?
I'm a out of the box thinker. I don't know.
See, I'm. Okay, let's just stop there. There's 3 examples. What is it? It's.
A pin.
That's my question. What is it? The topic would be, yellow, large pen, right? That's the topic.
Yep.
The question would be, what is it? And you said, what did you say when I asked you what is it?
I said a highlighter.
A highlighter. So if I take the question and the answer and I merge them together, this big yellow pen is a highlighter. Now I have a fully completed idea. To say yellow highlighter, it's not an idea. It's just a topic. It doesn't make any sense. To say, what is this? That's not an idea. That's just a question. But to say, this big yellow pen is a highlighter is a fully formed idea. Now we're starting really simple on the bottom here. And the things you're going to talk about are more complex than that. All right. Who else can I? All right, here you go. This is an ad for Krispy Kreme fundraising for the Women Rising Leadership Academy. You could at least give me credit for coming up with the idea, right? I can't be the president. No. Sound good to you? Let's just ask a why question. Why are the Women Rising, the WRLA, why are they selling donuts?
To raise money.
To raise money. All right, right there you have a really complete idea. The WRLA are selling donuts to raise money. I could ask you, how are you going to spend the money that you raise?
Scholarships.
The WRLA are going to spend the money they raise on scholarships. Full idea. You understand? A lot of times when people think they have an idea, they write it down. It's a bullet. It's a sentence fragment. It's not a fully formed idea. A fully formed idea is when you take the question and the answer, you put them together, and you have a fully formed idea. All right. So I think we're going to stay there for a second, and now we're going to put it into action. You got it? All right.
All right.
We're going to begin with the mayor. Mayor,
Yes,
stand up, and I like those socks. Yeah.
Oh, I like them too. That's why I'm wearing them.
You can't see his socks. They're stars and stripes. Let's just.
Let's talk about the socks.
I love this. Let me ask you a question. Why did you choose to wear those socks this morning? The topic, yeah. We don't need it. We're good.
Would you repeat the question, please?
Yes. Now that's what a politician does. You say that enough in front of the Senate panel, there'll be no time to answer the question. So you rephrase what you meant by that, and you just keep asking more and more questions, right? All right. Let's forget about your socks. Unless you want to talk about socks. Why did you? Okay, let's answer that. Why did you choose those socks today?
They were the first ones on top of the pile of socks.
All right, here we go. All right, I'm going to do this for you, but you're going to do it here in a second. I know we're like this is bottom shelf kind of stuff, but we're trying to get this thing down, all right? This will change the way in which you speak. All right, the topic is red, white, and blue socks. Got it?
Right.
The question is, why did you wear those socks today? Why did the mayor wear those socks today? And his answer was because they were at the top of the pile. Anybody want to take a stab at the big idea? Huh?
Convenience, what Samir said.
No, take a stab at, make the big idea. The question was, why did he wear the socks? The answer was because they were at the top of the pile. Go ahead.
They have stars on them? Ah.
No, okay, let me,
The whole idea.
yes, go ahead.
The red, white, and blue socks were purposely grabbed because they were easy to reach.
Okay.
That's weird.
Or even using his own words,
They were at the top of it.
the mayor chose the red, white, and blue socks because they were at the top of the pile. But you can morph it however you want. It's your idea. You can make it however you want it to be. All right. Let's talk about something that's important to you. Just give me a topic of something that's on your mind right now as Mayor Brea.
My career as a firefighter been on my mind quite a bit lately.
Oh.
It's ending. So.
Okay. Career as a firefighter. So the topic would be firefighting career. Does that sound good?
Coming
All
to
right.
an end.
Yeah.
Or the topic, sure.
Well, then ask the question then about the firefighter career coming to an end.
Ask the question.
Yeah, you ask it.
Why is your career coming to an end?
Why is your career coming to an end? All right. Or in your case, why is my career coming to an end?
Because I've reached that amount of years that allows me to leave. Leave it for the young guys.
All right. Well,
When is it?
you're getting way ahead of me right here. Okay. Let's just say then. All right. We know what the question is. We know what the answer is. Can I just give you your big idea?
Yes.
And I want you to be able to do this, but the mayor is leaving his career as a firefighter because it is the appropriate time to leave. The mayor is leaving his career as a firefighter because he has served the maximum amount of time and it's time to retire. The mayor, you got to pick one of these. Okay, you say it now. Put it in
the
a full.
mayor is retiring because it is that time.
There we go. Now that's succinct.
That is.
The mayor is retiring because it is that time. All right. But you've also got some subpoints that can go back to that. Number one, it's time to let the young guys do their thing.
That's a nice ringtone there.
That's the time limit here, but but
9 o'clock, Bill.
yeah. But I mean, if you're interested, we can just kind of follow this through and finish up.
Let's do it.
So the mayor is leaving his career,
Retiring.
is retiring because it's that time.
Yes.
The mayor is leaving because it's that time to make room for the younger guys. The mayor is leaving because it's that time to do some new things. The mayor is leaving because it's that time to sleep in. What do you say?
That's
Whatever.
not happening.
Yeah, that one doesn't go very good, number 3. The mayor is leaving because he wants to serve his country in new ways. All right. All right. So do you understand? I have a whole speech for him right now. The mayor is leaving because it's that time. That's his big idea. The mayor's leaving because it's that time to make room for
The young.
young guys. The mayor is leaving because
We like to focus on a new career.
a new career. Let's just leave it at those 2 things. So, got any stories about that?
I have a lot of stories.
Yeah.
We don't have a lot of time.
Because a visual. So let me just help him for a second. For example, remember we said one thing is you can say one thing. He's going to say he's leaving because it's that time. but he's gonna make it visual and he's not gonna need notes because he's gonna remember when he was a brand new firefighter and there was these older guys who paved the way for him, and also when they left, it made space for you to advance. I'm assuming this happened, right?
Absolutely.
And there was this
Cycle
chain
of
of
life.
cycle of life. And you're going to tell a story that is deeply personal, that's a part of what it looked like to watch guys do it really well. And that's why you think it's time, the time you are retiring, because it's time. And you're going to talk about the process of making room for younger people. And you're going to move into your second point or second movement, which is it's that time because you want to do, what'd you say?
Focus on a new career.
Focus on new career.
Focus on this, which is not
Yeah.
quite a new career, but
And you might tell a story about a recent event where you just really started thinking about that. And so
you want a story? Is that?
no, I want you to take,
Rolodex is going.
no. So you have the big idea and the thing you want to say, and you're going to tell visuals, so you don't even need notes.
Okay.
Can you do that in 3 minutes?
I have 3 minutes to prepare, or I have
No,
3 minutes for the speech.
Right now, boom. I just want to show you how easy this is. It's simple, but it's powerful. And I've chosen him because I think he can pull it off. Some of you might be like super frozen right now if I was putting you on the spot. Not Jatinder, he would love the opportunity. But the mayor, just go ahead.
Well, it's time for me to retire because it's time. I spent 28 years in this career as a firefighter in the Los Angeles area. When I got hired, out of the Marine Corps, 8 years in the Marine Corps, I got to that point where, hey, I'm a new fireman now. And I see all these older firemen that have been around since dust was created. Vietnam veterans, things like that, right? And these guys are tough, gruffy gentlemen. And it gets to the point where you do 28, 30 years on the job, your body breaks down. The young guys are coming in and they're looking at you, thinking they could beat you in every aspect of firefighting career. But as a stubborn old guy, certainly I'm going to step up to the occasion and show these young guys what to do. But at this time, my body's not cooperating. Got multiple surgeries coming up. I think I've accomplished what I've set my goals as a firefighter, to that point where I could step down and give the young guys that position, or at least earn that position when I step down. So it's at that time. It's that time. I don't even know if I answered
I mean, just think of
I
how
blacked out for a minute. Was that okay?
Just think of how much better it would be if he had had 3 minutes to prepare, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, think about 3 days to prepare. Just really trying to narrow it. But you got the idea that he's retiring because he wants to, because it's time, right? If you're driving to lunch today, you can probably remember what he said, right? That's my point. It's interesting. Nobody was sleeping here. They were engaged. They're actually engaged because they care about you, but they were also engaged because you were interesting. You were telling a story. Several years ago, I said to...
May I sit?
Yeah, you may. Give him a hand, hey. You should vote for him.
Next year.
But I said to Chief Holly, I said, I'm not telling you what to do, but if I were you, I would not go up and speak to our pastors and tell them all the things, the accomplishments, and the resume, what the police department's doing. I would just tell some really good crime stories.
Yeah.
And he did, and he's like, he's sitting on the best stories in the world. We watch this stuff on television. He came a couple weeks ago. It was super powerful. He told us about the drones that are now going into people's houses and going down hallways and helping them solve the crime before the people go into the house. And I mean, I'm like compelled. I cannot forget that. Do you understand? It's a visual, and he was very succinct in what he was doing. All right. Last thing we want to do is you have you have notes there and a pencil or a pen, write down your business, your topic. What is it that if you were going to talk about your business, and by the way, those of you who did the 30-minute commercials, you were great. By the way, those of you who do videos for a living and make things visual, that's exactly what I'm talking about. That told me more about the business more about, a visual tells us more about anything else. And you're just trying to you're just trying to make it really interesting to people. So write down your topic. What is it? And then the question you want to ask about that topic. By the way, there are hundreds of thousands of questions you can ask about every topic. You just got to figure out the one that you want to talk about. Got it? And write the answer and put them together into a complete sentence. And I'm going to have a couple of you share that are willing. This is free marketing, by the way.
How do you choose the question?
How, what, where, when, why,
Right.
who, about that topic. Every topic has a question. Topic is necklaces. The question is, will any of them fit my neck? Who's doing the necklaces?
Over here.
Sports bra.
Will any of those necklaces fit my neck?
I can absolutely make it fit your neck.
There you go. Is the answer. That's why would I want to buy one? How much are they? I mean, just trying to come up with an idea. All right, you good? Need a couple of examples. I'll take volunteers. I won't call people out randomly. Go ahead.
Home buyers. Do you need a real estate agent to buy a home? Yes, you do. Why you need a real estate agent to buy a home with Visa?
Or put it in a sentence. Everybody needs a real estate agent to buy a
To
home.
buy a home.
That's your topic. I mean, that's your big idea.
Yeah.
And you're just going to keep hitting on that over and over again. Great job.
So I have a bakery. So you and I are totally in tune.
Yeah, I haven't eaten any carbohydrates since this morning, but go ahead.
I bake after I speak to the customers. So the question being, why do I do that rather than just bake and then sell? And my topic would be, I love the looks, expressions, and happiness on the person's face when I hand them the food, and they realize that the concepts have come true.
All right. The question is why do you talk to the customers before you give them the food?
Before I bake.
Before I bake?
As I take their orders.
Okay. And the answer is because you like their expressions. We can just summarize that.
Okay.
So your big idea would be, I talk to the customers before I bake
What they.
their order because I love the expressions on their faces. Does that make sense? That's a full idea, right?
Yes.
Or some version of that.
Yeah, I understand.
Okay, you're just taking the question. The reason why you ask a question and answer is because a question is incomplete by itself, an answer is incomplete by itself. You need to have them both together to make an idea. This has been happening since civilization started. Question and an answer makes an idea. Go ahead.
So at Goodwill, we help people with disabilities find jobs.
Yeah.
How can I find businesses to partner with? The answer is the Brea Chamber of Commerce.
Yes.
So now say the big idea. Put the question and answer together.
Finding employers through the Brea Chamber of Commerce changes people's lives.
Okay? You've added some other concepts in there from your other, but you would say, how can I find people to partner with?
Correct.
Brea Chamber of Commerce. The Brea Chamber of Commerce helps the Goodwill find partners, business partners, right? Or whatever you want to say. Yeah, and by the way, your initial idea is clumsy, and you just keep working it out until you really get it succinct and you really get it down.
Designer wedding dresses, make brides happy to find their dream dresses, to say yes to the dress.
So what's the question?
Why pretty and white bridal?
How can
Why get a dress at Pretty and White Bridal?
okay,
Is
the
my
answer is
question. To find the dream wedding dress.
because you'll find the dream wedding dress.
Mhm.
What's the name again?
Pretty and White. Bridal.
Pretty. Yeah, I've never been there because I've never worn one. Pretty and white. You can. I'm sorry, we're gonna start over. I talked too much. I forgot about what we just said. It's a limited attention span of a man.
It's okay.
Right. Say it again.
Although I only talked about one thing.
Yeah.
Yes.
One. Yeah, no. One. I'm showing you how to process here. The question is what? What's the question? Say it again.
Why buy a dress at Pretty and White Bridal?
See, it's even getting better. Why buy a dress at Pretty and White Bridal? Because.
You get one-on-one attention.
Stop there. That's enough. You want to buy a dress at Pretty and White Bridal because you get one-on-one attention. That's a full idea, if that's what you want to say.
Yeah.
But it sounds like you have more than that to say, and but I mean, or maybe you need to say something broader. You want to buy a dress at Pretty and White Bridal because you get excellent service.
Yeah.
You get one-on-one attention. Customers go away happy. Whatever. All those things are answers to the big idea. Anybody else?
I'm stealing that one from
All right. Good.
You buy a dress from Pretty and White because your dream dress is here.
There you go.
That's nice.
That is nice.
There. Did you get her a free dress?
You're
All right. Anybody up here? And it will. Yeah. Go ahead.
J Squared Productions makes videos for businesses.
Come up here and stand. They can hear you.
Here, I'll have my notes here. J Squared Productions makes videos for businesses.
That's your big idea.
Big idea.
So what's your question?
Why do you make videos for businesses?
And the answer is?
To help them grow and connect with customers.
Okay. So now say it again. Your big idea?
J Squared Productions makes videos to help businesses grow and connect with customers.
Gold star.
Yeah.
Totally.
All right. Last thing we're going to do, I think you got it. Do you understand it? You're going to work it out.
Yeah.
You're going to just question and answer, put it together. And a lot of times people say, my idea is, candy. It doesn't make any sense. You got to ask a question about the candy and then answer the question. But candy is a topic. It's not an idea. It doesn't make any sense. If I say candy, you have no idea what I'm talking about. But why would I want to eat this candy? Because it's very sweet. I want to eat this candy because it's very sweet. Why would I want to give my business to dollar signs? Because they gave me candy. I would want to give my business to dollar signs because they gave me candy. You got it? You just question it. Last thing is on the back, just really quickly. I just want to point these out. They're on slides, but you can just look at your paper. And I did this because I'm pretty sure we would run out of time. Let me just finish this way. Mayor Blair illustrated this already for us with the stories. And make it visual. If you can see what you're saying, then you can remember it. And if you can see it and you're describing what's in your head, there's a projector in your head, other people will see it too. That's why stories are fascinating. You don't talk about abstract concepts on a plane, you tell stories with a person you've never met before. You become best of friends. Turn the ears into eyes. Make sure that if you can't see it, it's gonna be boring. If you can see it, they can see it, it's visual, and it's interesting. Why do the majority of Americans get their news from non-printed material? Because it's visual. Show them, don't just tell them. If you're gonna demonstrate something about your business, show them how it happens, how it works. Show them, Pastor, how a life is changed by making these decisions. Not just tell them that they should change. Make it personal. The more personal, the more powerful. That's what the mayor did for us. He made it personal. Talk about, in a humble way, but talk about why it matters to you. Be involved in the story, even if it's not your story. In other words, embrace the story. Keep it fresh. As a pastor, I try not to tell any stories that didn't happen in the last 7 days. There's a whole bunch of reasons why. One, it's fresh. Number two, it's true. Like, I can tell you stories about high school, and then nobody knows if they're true or not. Number two, it's true, because most people will know that he didn't do that last week, and so it keeps me honest. Number three, it's never been told before. Keep it fresh. Don't keep telling the same old stories. Get new ones. Finally, connect. You want the worst type of connection when it's not the speaker's experience, nor is it the audience's experience. It's better to at least the audience is experiencing it. It's even better if the speaker has firsthand experience, the audience doesn't. But the best stories of all are when you know the audience, and it's both the audience's and the speaker's experience. I'm talking about public speaking.
Right.
All of us have to do it. And so that's probably, if you're interested at all, that's why, because it's our shared experience. And we all know the pains of doing it. And I would say to you, if you want to be interesting, just do two things. It's really that simple, and it's actually very complex. There's hundreds of hours we could spend talking about it, but two things. Number one, say one thing, keep it visual. Got it? Thank you very much.